Zero Authority is a community of people who believe in open source and permissionless systems. Thanks for supporting the community. Remember why you started.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Today we have some special guests joining Zero Authority. We are a community of people who believe in open source and permissionless systems built on stacks secured by Bitcoin. Today we're talking to NFTs on Bitcoin and Kaylee. We've been seeing all of their really cool updates in the ecosystem. We are a small but mighty community. We really care about each other. We really love Bitcoin. We love stacks. We love the culture. We love the ethos of what we're trying to do here. Before we jump into many topics today, how are you guys doing?
Doing pretty good. It's a beautiful day here in Maryland and all good vibes.
I'm doing fantastic. Friday afternoon, couldn't be better. Think I probably am going to go camping this weekend, weather permitting. So pretty excited for that. Touch some grass, if you will.
Nice. That's what you should be doing. Beautiful weather, beautiful people. What more could you ask for?
Absolutely. And James, my friend, long-term buddy, long-term pal, Zero Authority co-founder. How are you, man?
Doing good. Stoked for all that we're doing and stoked to be here with all of you guys. Just feeling really good about where Stacks is going. Just was poking around other ecosystems, and I was like, man, there's just nothing like this.
No, there isn't.
I'm just curious. Yeah, I mean, it's fun to see. I mean, it's fun, and it's fun to see the just very gradual, steady onward and upward over the last few years. Like some of the other ones go so hype, so loud, so fast, and then some of the other ecosystems just got real quiet for a while. But it seems like there's still always a steady flow of developments and announcements and just great developments in the ecosystem, especially around like real Bitcoin DeFi and Bitcoin NFTs. So putting our money where our mouth is a little more and more.
Oh, I definitely agree with that. And the communities, can't leave those out. I think we're seeing a huge flourish of creativity here in the Stacks ecosystem. We see like a lot of independent artists, musicians, photographers, content creators like ourselves. They're growing and they're not afraid of the bear market. They're here every day. They're here for the community and they're hosting events and we're all having fun together, making new memories and experiences. So it's a really fun time right now.
No, that's so true, and that's one of the many reasons we wanted to talk to you both, because you guys are here, you guys are still building and I've seen that. I've been in crypto a number of years now. Some communities burn red hot during the bull markets and then just completely deflate. And the way I think about stacks is just slow and steady, slow and steady. And with that being said, a couple of announcements before we do jump in here. Before we do an announcement, Kaylee and then Teflon, can you just give us an intro into how you got started as a content creator and what brought you to Stacks?
Yeah, so first, how I became a content creator. So I started working with CrashPunks and their wonderful team, and I realized I was really good at creating content and making art and visuals. So I started helping out in the Discord through that way, and it was just really fun. I felt like I had complete control over being a creative and making something unique every day. It was really cool to see other people and their reactions to getting phone screensavers prizes or to show a really cool thumbnail for a partnership. It was just something that I could create that made other people happy and it brought joy to me. And I would say how I found out about Stacks. So really interesting. I was watching The Gentleman of Crypto on YouTube, and Isaiah Jackson, he does a lot of work with City Coins and the mayor of Miami. And he was talking about Stacks and NFTs on Bitcoin. And I was just kind of confused. I was like, I don't know anything about NFTs on Bitcoin. So I did more due diligence and I stumbled into the Stacks ecosystem. And I met some incredible people like Eli Herf and a ton of other people who just completely blew me away. I think the people here in the ecosystem are like one of a kind. And I think that's really what pulled me in initially. So I stayed for the community and I'm going to stick around for a while.
Hell yeah, love that. I mean, I guess I've been around as far as content creation. I've, in my professional career, like I've been around tech marketing for most of it, but on the side, I guess even like since college and into college, I'd always kind of fiddled around with social media and just doing things on the side there. And through that, I, somewhat got into, Bitcoin and to crypto to some extent. And then originally, I think Zero, this is, I believe when you came in was with Freehold, had
Yeah.
helped them a little bit with some just general work around and, been around the Stacks community. And then I think, with NFTs, I think they really brought a lot of communities together, like already existing communities within the Stacks and Bitcoin Web3 community, but just made them more formal and kind of gave everyone those identities, with NFTs. And the rest is history. But, of course, I've been on Instagram's like my preferred platform, but I like browsing on Twitter, and I like to, use Twitter because that's where a lot of the hottest news is and the hottest NFT stuff. So, but of course, we got to share the news and share like educational, non-shilly, good content. That was something that always kind of bothered me with Web3 as well. Like back in the day, TBT, like 18 months ago or whatever, 2-3 years ago, of just seeing how the language was very technical and very just not for the widespread audience, and could tell it was developers just trying to write for fellow developers, and it didn't make a lot of sense to other people. So saw the big opportunity there and stuck around for the memes and the NFTs and the fun here. But it's been a blast.
No, that's really awesome to hear. And before we get back to that, I want to make a couple announcements. And so Ryder, they have their launch coming up soon. So Ryder is going to be social IDs and with a physical watch device. I mean, this is going to be really cool. You can use this as your wallet. And I mean, there's going to be a lot of other use cases too as they start to roll out. The team behind it, Marvin, Lewis, Friedger, I mean, they're Stacks OGs, they're Stacks legends. They've put so much time and effort into this. I really see this as being a huge win in the community. So make sure to pre-order. They're going to launch the NFT. The NFT launch is going to come out soon, and then that's going to be your ticket to get a device. Alex just launched Alex 2. So the order book, I mean, these are some. This is They call it BitFi. I'm not sure if I'm seeing that trending, but Bitcoin DeFi, I really truly believe it's going to be a trending topic. Stacks is going to be the platform. Stacks is going to be the layer one solution for smart contracts on Bitcoin. Alex Go is pushing the boundaries. I was just listening to Chan talk to Jake on his podcast. What they're building is truly extraordinary, just groundbreaking stuff. And we are live for 030 Cerulean Marketplace. We have the creator login now, and people are coming in, adding their services. Hey, if you're a developer, if you like to do memes, if you like to host space, come sign up. And right now we're just seeing people come into the marketplace, just sign up, offer their services. Hey, I do this. Right now in crypto, it's so hard to find the people that do the exact things. I mean, sometimes for the mass majority, you're not looking to hire a dedicated person. You may just want to hire someone for a service or just for a gig. And so we believe we're on that path to solve this problem with the 0.1 launch, where right now we don't have smart contracts, we don't have a Web3 login, so that's why we're not collecting any additional information. It's just Twitter, Discord, and a blurb about yourself. That's it. We truly believe in the Web3 model where your data is your own, and that's why we're not asking for a bunch right now until we build the Web3 version. But we really see Cerulean Marketplace coming together where people can do it in a trustless way all across this globe, and it's going to be settled on Bitcoin. So we're really excited about that, and we'll jump back into it here. Kaylee, when you started working with the Crash, and we love Eli Herf and Trevor and Grace, man, that team is so talented. Tell us about some of the things that you learned while working with Crash Punks.
Oh, some of the things I've learned. That's a brilliant question. I would say teamwork and communication. So in the Web 2 space, working for companies, it can be pretty. The corporate atmosphere can be pretty rough. So I would say working with them in the Web 3 space is really limitless. We can communicate whenever we set our own boundaries. We are able to make content, make games, make activities for the community in ways that I don't think you can just connect with people in Web 2. Here you can talk to anyone. You can be pseudonymous. You can really see people for who they are outside of a picture and really connect with them on a different level. I would say teamwork and communication really expand those boundaries for us in our community. So communication, teamwork, and there's just so many other things that I've learned along the way working with Trevor, Eli, and Grace that I think I'll leave it at that with just teamwork and communication.
And I've noticed on your Instagram and NFTs on Bitcoin, you guys have a lot of good information. Just you can apply to Web3 across the board and Bitcoin stacks and other chains. But tell us how you think about some of the content across platform.
Across platform. So I won't lie to you guys. I'm not a big Bitcoin maxi, but I'm a very big Bitcoin forward. So I believe all roads lead and end with Bitcoin. But in the overall sense, I do see cross-chain development happening. Being able to go to Cardano and being able to come to Bitcoin. But I think that Bitcoin just offers so many things that differentiates itself from other chains. Like the security aspect of Bitcoin is something that we see as a huge thing when we see other coins that have issues like Solana getting hacked. I think Bitcoin really solves that issue. So I think seeing more platforms and more development on Bitcoin really sets itself apart. But I'm really optimistic for the future, and I definitely want to see more technology change the way that we see the world and how we interact with things. So I'm very open to it.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day, like they will be used whether it's by big brands or different organizations, just different chains for different reasons. So being able to be open and not siloed, I mean that's what Web3 is about. And to some extent, that's one of the values, is being open and working together. So I think that's just the way it's going to be. And I think Stacks is doing a good job. We're seeing obviously Rider, which you talked about earlier. So if you haven't registered for Rider, but they're doing ETH and Stacks, man, and you can bring in new people and just be more flexible. So it doesn't.
Yeah, you said a really interesting point too, because I've been involved with Stacks and I saw the mainnet launch and I really feel when NFTs like really kicked off, that just brought a whole new wave of people in and I wasn't really fully invested and understood what the NFT wave is, but once everyone was riding the wave and buying and selling and trading NFTs, man, it was a lot of hype, a lot of fun at the time, and it just caught so many people by surprise.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Yeah, It was something that we were definitely missing, and it filled the gap that at that stage, and 4 or 5 months after the mainnet launch or so, it seemed to have really taken off. So, things were getting working, and that just really brought it to life for everyone.
Yeah, it was awesome to see. And then you had all of these creators come and they were making, just kind of like the OG drops. And it was just so cool to see, like the Bitcoin birds and it's, these young kids and they're just trying to help the environment, or whether it's like Megapont coming out of nowhere. And now it's, I would say, arguably one of the best NFT projects looking at any chain. And it is interesting, too, to see projects they incorporate a drop in the future on Ethereum or other chains. I think it's if you have shared interests, people like NFTs, people are curious if that you go meet people where they are. You don't try and onboard someone that just bought Bitcoin to get an NFT, you find people that are interested in NFTs, right? So it's I like that methodology of people here. So
Yeah, and at the same time, I think it's continuing. Like we talk about those days as, they were a prime time, but now there's also, I feel like it's the prime time for like new creators, like existing artists and stuff who are coming on and really making a difference and making waves. So there's going to be continue to be cool different waves that the NFT technology is used. But that first hype, that was pretty wild, and there was lots of speculation and for very small projects. So that was exciting.
And
the utility in the next 6-8 months will be a lot more fun, I think. Access.
Oh,
I think so.
yeah.
definitely want to add to that. I totally agree. Right now, during the bear market, usually during the bear market, people are very quiet. There's not much development. But I think here in Stacks, it's way different. You have projects like CrashPunks, Project Indigo, Megapont, Nonish. They're all like, even though all the noise has died down, they're devoted to building and continuing a narrative of, hey, even though it's not a bull market, we're going to act like it's a bull market. We're going to continue to build. We're going to continue to bring value to the ecosystem no matter what. And I think that says a lot to the aspiration and the energy here on Stacks. And I think that's one of the most unique things compared to other ecosystems. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that grows in the next few months.
No, and I'm super stoked. So I was just on a Twitter space with our good buddies, the Stacks Degens. And if Stacks Degens, if you're out there, Buzzot. It's an inside joke. It means based, so it literally means nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one of those insiders, I guess. Buzzot. So we were talking to. They're called Nova Insights. They have some Bitcoin mining rigs in Georgia, and they're mining Bitcoin, and they're going to reward people playing games. Now, I'm not sure how this is all going to work out, but let's just imagine a world where they're mining Bitcoin and one division of the company, the other division is creating video games that rewards players, and you will be able to do that with DLC Link and the smart contracts with Clarity, which is pretty cool. And on top of that, then you have like the Stacks Degens who will have Bitcoin in their games as well. So, I mean, it's happening, right? Like, no one has stopped building anything during this bear market.
Yeah, I think if we feel like that, the price might be down, but it's still worth getting, the people that are going to be interested now when the bull market returns are going to, or the users rather, are just going to be so much more valuable in the community that you can build now. A lot less speculators to, come in and say stuff and hype up and leave and etc. So I think that's why a lot of the builders, you learn things over time. So they're never going to be the same, all the different bear market cycles. Plus, as I think we were chatting about earlier, just there's still lots of new companies and energy and VC funding, like in just the broader crypto infrastructure space. So there's just a whole new groups of people coming into Web3 for the first time, because they're in it full time, and then they want to get a social digital identity and be part of NFT communities to feel their way around.
Yeah, I'd be curious to hear too, like where you guys see some utility from NFTs, some kind of maybe the audience hasn't heard of yet, or some use cases that you see that could be interesting here in the future, or you're seeing already occur right now.
I would say having access directly to community members. So I'm looking at like photographers, like in Stacks Photography Guild. You have Levi, you have Jason Matthias. They're connecting with their community through the NFTs. And eventually, I think we're going to see these NFTs act as like email addresses. You connect your wallet, and that NFT provides you with direct access to the creator. And that creator is giving you some kind of return on investment, whether that's social capital or a monetary investment. it's something that I think is going to be huge, whether that's concerts or just get-togethers or social meetups or something that drives community engagement. I think we're going to continue to see uh, a people-directed connection through NFTs, and I'm excited to see how that evolves over time.
Yeah, I agree as well. In the last like few months, music NFTs, as far as like access, been a big thing for me. Like I even went to a music festival with Lucid, who launched his on Gamma recently as part of their community, and met up with some of the other folks there. Like, and in the next month, I'll be going to another concert that I just linked my token, and they using some Discord tools. Hopefully, it'll be console tools soon. You get to the show, like things like that. At least, and I guess even recently, like my new barber, who's about 25 minutes from me, uses NFTs. So just seeing things like that, I think will, and individual artists, obviously that's like a given. But just using token gated utility, I think will bring it to life. We're seeing that. I mean, what isn't Reddit doing that with all their profiles? Like things like that will really bring it to the masses. Or I mean, what Mark Cuban with the Mavs? I think most people get tickets or tokens if they attend, or it's you can choose to buy it after every game if you want. So things like that, I think, will really bring it to life.
Yeah, I think so. And just a really quick, No Code Clarity gave us the rocket ship emoji. So huge shout out, huge fan of what he's doing over there. That's another thing that is coming, right? It's going to be an additional add-on to Bubble, where Bubble is a no-code platform, and being able just to push a button and have a Web3 logon, that's going to be huge for people that don't know how to design smart contracts. They really probably don't even want to design smart contracts, but they want to give people the ability to own their own data. You can do that now. So thank you for that huge shout out. And something that comes up on my mind and topic a lot is, how do other content creators, how do we encourage them to come in and cover topics? And what advice would you have for someone who is thinking, I would like to do what Kaylee and Teflon is doing, but I'm just not sure how to get started.
I would say curiosity is the biggest motivator. I would say join a community, whether it's Stacks Parrots, fall down the rabbit hole and just start looking around. And I think that's going to inspire a lot of people. Trying to do research is one thing, but actually following the social media, following the social polls, being in the community itself and hearing from the people who are supporting it and the team members who are building every day, I think that's motivation. And that motivation really triggers something to most people. I think seeing and hearing that is a huge cue to most people, and it inspires them to do it in their own way. So if you're a content creator or you want to be one, look into the community, see what they're building. What are they building? Is it gaming like Project Indigo? Are they building new? Are they making more innovation, new innovation like Stacks Parrots with their parrot gallery? What is driving the motivation behind these teams and the communities? Definitely look into that and see what speaks to you. And I think that they will find their answer in that.
Yeah, that's great. I completely agree. I mean, you need to have some level of curiosity and some level of willingness to dive down the rabbit hole. And I think immediately you'll see, I mean, if you spend enough time down those respective rabbit holes of communities that you genuinely enjoy, you'll see some gaps where you can help and make an impact. And, you can fill those gaps, and sometimes you'll find community projects, etc., who will, reward you for those, whether it's Zero Authority DAO or just like individually for like an NFT project or for, a different community that's a DAO, etc.
Yeah. And we were talking offline. You guys made some really good points on having a presence on different social channels, but being more strategic how you use each of those channels.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's gaps. So there's gaps in like the channels for just basic example of like today, like shorts obviously on YouTube seem to be like, there's not as many people that are making shorts as are producing the other content because it's a new feature.
Mm-hmm.
there's always that aspect that's going to be like the platform, but also just in the community. Like there's going to be gap, in whether it's the Bitcoin community or the Stacks community or the whatever community you're involved with. They just might be super active on only one platform, and you can't have that reliance. So trying to fill those gaps will provide value and impact. And people, you might have to do it without getting compensated for some time, but eventually, if you do things long enough, like people will find you and to do similar things that you might not have thought of, but you'll be able to be rewarded somehow through doing stuff like that, or just putting yourself out there. It's just the best. It's the best resume. Cover letters and interviews and resumes are gone. You're just gonna have to spend 10 hours online putting stuff out there if that's what you want to do, doing what you want to do without getting paid.
I love that. It's so true. I mean, once like inspiration, motivation is one thing. Showing that to somebody you don't know is a whole nother thing. You have to really understand who you are as a person and develop yourself and find what works for you. And once it speaks to you, it'll speak to other people. So I think NFTs on Bitcoin hit it over the nail on the head in that aspect.
Yeah, I think we are in a point too where like in the internet, it's very open. If you continually produce value will come back to you. And I think that's just a really good motto to have in kind of this modern open world where, it's up to you based like how you want to be involved in what you do. And so, yeah, like you continually produce value. I truly believe value will come back and find you as well.
So something that James and I talk about all the time is the future version of Zero Authority. We imagine if we can kick off the Cerillium marketplace and people are offering trustless services that anyone can provide from anywhere at any time and paying crypto, earning crypto, all of that is on chain, right? So you can extract that, and these are things that you have done. So Kaylee, if I need you to make some memes, I would just find you on Cerillium marketplace. Hey, Kaylee, please make 3 memes for me. Okay, here's 100 stacks. Okay, boom, you sent it over to me. You have the smart contract unlocked because we both agreed the work was done, and now that's verified proof that you have done something in the real world to provide value. James and I, we've been thinking, and right now LinkedIn is great in a Web 2 model where you have your job history, and then the things that you post are kind of related to what you kind of worked on. But we think if we can also build a product that takes the data from Cerillium Marketplace, the things that you've actually done, and then highlight whether it's on your Twitter profiles, whether it's on your GitHub or your social channels. These are the works that we've actually done with other people, and because it's open source, I don't need to kind of talk about it in roundabout circles. I could tell you exactly what I did, and now this is my new social proof. Also, I could use a .btc name or a .eth name. So I just think about this future that we're headed into, where it's open source and trustless.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. It's funny. I was talking with some reps at other companies about LinkedIn and Bitcoin overall, and I think Zero Authority is really setting a precedent. LinkedIn is it's just not going to be able to compete. In the Web3 space, having your own identity linked to your BNS domain and highlighting those opportunities and those activities that have been completed is a huge thing. And it's going to be easier for most people to reach out, to confirm with people. It's going to cut the cord on a lot of Web2, I would say websites and social media platforms, just because they're so centralized, and it's just an old way of doing things. And as we're exploring this journey in the Web3 space, there's just no need for that anymore. We're innovating, and we're becoming way more reliant on technology. And I'm excited to see the development and to see where that goes.
Yeah. Something else that I think is kind of cool, and I've personally, I haven't, like, as a freelancer, but I've used freelancers on websites like Fiverr and Upwork before, which is kind of similar in a sense to it. But I think,
Yeah.
with the Web3 identity, like, you can see and you can set parameters even if you want on tokens, getting dispersed, and like seeing if they're people who have immediately dumped tokens, or if they actually have a wallet that has tokens, so they're not going to run off with your money, or just things of that nature, which, I mean, it's part of the open internet to some extent. Some people would, I guess, like, you can obviously have different wallets and different things like that, but you have a little more insight and a little more proof into their social proof and their connections to the community over time as well. Because like that matters a lot for freelancers or community managers and stuff. Like, you can see their on-chain presence and see that they've owned a CrashPunk for 3 years. They've done this thing, so that they are. If you want to hire them for marketing or community or something like that, you have that proof as well, which I think it's a big deal here.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, James, one thing I was going to say, because NFTs on Bitcoin, when we were talking offline, you were asking us, how do we also think about NFTs? And this is where this becomes interesting, because this is Web3, because and frankly, James and I, we want to own our own data as well. We don't want to live in a world anymore that dictates how we get to act with our own data. So one of the other things that we've really been thinking about is, because your history will be your own, Zero Authority wouldn't own anything. We just facilitate the trustless contracts, right? So it's just a pass through. You still own all of that history, and then this is where the reputation starts to come into play. And we've had numerous conversations with Jamil, because I've told Jamil and Nick that we love how they use the BNS address. He was the first one to do it before it was even a thing, but they've created on Gamma the community page, and we think about doing something like that with work history, with social channels, but you get to own your reputation and your history, and then this is where the NFTs come into it, James.
Yeah, we've talked about, like, essentially compiling that data in a form where it'd be kind of like your passport. I think I even described it to Zero at one point. It's kind of like your Pokedex if you were a Pokemon fan as a kid. Like, you pull it out and you're like, oh, look what I've done. Look at the badges I've gotten or whatnot. And so you could really, in a lot of ways, work history in today's world, it's kind of like you have one title and you have 5 years of experience. And this, we kind of want it to be, okay, hey, you did some stuff for a DeFi protocol. Okay, you have some experience there. You've done some stuff with art. You're creative in that way. You have some experience there. And so over time, you'd be able to really, your kind of character, your full essence of who you are would be able to shine through. And you could take that anywhere, a competitor, or just showing it off on your own page, or, if we have some sort of metaverse in the future, so we really want that to work out. And then it creates really interesting opportunities, because then all of a sudden someone can say, hey, we really need someone that is good at consulting DeFi projects. And you could say, hey, look, check out my passport. Yeah, I fit the bill. And from there, it works out. We've talked about all kinds of stuff and how that would kind of manifest in NFT form. It's all in the ideation phase, but I think what's going on, what Megapont did with the Robot Factory, is kind of lingering in my head a little bit. Would be kind of a cool way to do it. So
I also like that you own it, because I think a lot of times when someone's in a corporate role or a role, they determine their value and what they bring based on how other people assign value to them. And with this, it changes that completely. You're not at the mercy of the corporation or the third party. You're your own person, and no matter what you've done, it can't be discredited and it can't be destroyed by another person or another entity. So I think that's a huge thing, and I love that you guys are building that out. It's going to be a huge game changer, and I look forward to testing it and giving feedback and trying it out.
We
Yeah, I
love
think
that. We'd love that. Go ahead, NFTs.
I was just gonna say, you guys building the infrastructure and build like even already what you've got, and then it's gonna only get better. It's such a big step, and it's gonna help drive it. So shout out you guys for doing that, building that page with all the even get just people going to it, seeing all the types of jobs that that Web3 companies would do. I know personally, I've sent it to some people, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't even think of that." Like that's something that being a Twitter Spaces host or something like that for a project, things like that. It's like you just don't think of them, but you guys doing that, and once there's more and more postings on both sides, it's gonna be great for the whole Web3 Bitcoin community.
And really, another one of the numerous reasons why I really wanted to bring you guys on today is because being a content creator is finding a niche and working that and educating people, also entertaining people, and also bringing people some new information that they may not have found otherwise. Because I mean, you both of you guys know I tweet your stuff on IG and Twitter every single day because, frankly, I can't keep up. Obviously, I have a day job. I'm going to have my first kid here in a couple months, and so I can't keep up with all the content. However, you guys doing a lot of the heavy lifting allows the Zero Authority to say, okay, we are starting to become a trusted name in the Stack space, and also these other trusted names look to us to provide updates, but I also look for you guys to provide those updates so I could push it out. And so James and I are, and also the many Zero Authority core people from Algorithm, Rafa, Advisor, and Jack Ben Switch. He just did a really cool article. Mariaverse, Kenny, some people that's not around now, Spartan, he went on to work with Thea Petra, and then Kurt, he went on to OK Coin, and Longstreet was early in with Zero Authority, and his music and Project Indigo and what he's done for the Photography Guild has been amazing. And we've had all these people come and go. We see ourselves as a DAO. We really believe we're going to be one of many modern corporations. The DAO structure, you come and go as you please, and that's okay. We love that. And so what you guys are doing, I see that on the edge of the next frontier, posting content and getting enjoyment and entertaining people. And I do wonder, are you guys interested in I don't see a lot of information right now on like video NFTs, but maybe is that even something that is on your radar at all?
As far as like posting videos as NFTs, like educational
Yeah.
videos as NFTs, not especially
Okay.
personally, just for myself. But I don't need to clog up the chain with too much educational stuff. I'm not like in Web3. I'm excited for Console DAO. I'll say that much, and to use and to help leverage, kind of the social parts of Console DAO when that comes out, because that'll be a nice, cool Web3 social platform. So definitely embracing those ones when they come out, and on-chain access and things as needed. But yeah, that's my thought at least on the videos. Yeah. I do wish that, and I'm hoping, and whenever it's going to happen, Jamil, if you're listening to this, I'm sure it's in the roadmap, but of hiding NFTs from your wallet and some of those things when they're things like passes or tickets and things of that nature. But I know it's all coming together, so I'm excited.
Yeah. And Kaylee, would you be opposed, or would you? I know you're not going to clog the network like NFTs on Bitcoin.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I would have to think about that. That's not something I've considered. That sounds interesting, but I don't know if I'd fall down that route. I'd have to think about it, to be honest, because there's a lot of ways to spin that and to do it. I don't know. It sounds amazing, and it's something I need to do more research on.
Yeah, I guess something on the note, though, of rewarding creators and video creators and things of that nature with NFTs like that, I think, and I might be wrong on this one, but the Noun DAO or some DAOs like that are using NFTs and new models, I think some of it goes to the development, and I believe like they get paid in the NFTs or things like that. So I think there's interesting ways for creators and other projects to use NFTs like that, aside from like the tickets and the verification and the social proof of work and all. That's awesome as well. But I think even just like as a currency, if there's something that has a big enough auction market, or just market in general, like I'm just for example, like a similar project in our space is the Saints, by Dr. Suss.
Yeah.
Where there's so many of those frequent auctions and stuff like that. But thinking if in the future when that project, when he's hiring on legions of people to help onboard the hundreds of new artists that he's getting, perhaps some of the people that help him run their channels and community management get the proceeds of 2 mints or something, or 1 mint a month, or one auction, sorry, not mint, one auction a month or something like that. So I don't know, I just think there'll be a lot of different ways to use fungible and non-fungible tokens, with
I think so.
and marketers and just people working in Web3 on the non-technical side and the technical side as well.
Yeah, I like to mention too with what Dan's creating with the boom boxes. I think that's something that's probably untapped for creators here coming up. Is you have the ability. It's not really known about, but it can happen right now where you can create like a custom boom box that's essentially indefinitely stacked, and you could use that as a sort of a key to entries to different communities. And then at that point, the stacking rewards go to the person that's providing the content or doing the work. And it can kind of be divvied up however you'd like. And it's all kind of, very transparent. And that's kind of in existence right now. It's just kind of underutilized. So.
Yeah, that's a great call. We love Dan and Brad. They do the Purple Pill Fridays too. They're also heavy on Stacks and been Stacks OGs for a long time. I knew Dan since back in before 2019 because he was hosting Stacks meetups out here in Oregon. I used to live in Oregon, but now I'm in Washington State. So he moved over to Texas, and he kind of left that void open. But the Boombox protocol is a Boombox. It's a Boombox protocol that anyone could use. And so the way it works is if you have enough stacking rewards, you could create an NFT for each cycle and release that like they do. But it could be like maybe like for NFTs on Bitcoin only for that community, or for only the Kaylee community. And shout out to Hero Gamer. I don't know what SIP that is. So Dan, if you're watching this on the replay, you're going to have to follow up with Hero Gamer. And huge shout out. We love what you're doing, Hero Gamer. But yeah, so that is a really cool call out, James. We have a little bit of time left here, and before we depart, I did want to ask you guys, and we talked about a lot of topics. So this has just been a really great conversation overall, and really great to get your take on where we're going, where we're headed, and the next bull run here. I know there's still a lot to happen. Do you guys foresee a lot of people are going to come into Stacks and also fill the void on creating some different content on different channels? So you guys mentioned TikTok. I know there's Twitter, there's IG, YouTube, and I don't know, even maybe something on Facebook, on groups for some older people that want to get interested in or want to get more involved in crypto. And crypto, we know it's all ages, all genders, everything. Anyone could come into crypto.
Yeah, I think that's something. I mean, we'll see a lot of people now that there's a little more time, I think, to experiment. They'll experiment with different platforms and different things and see what works and what doesn't. And if things work, they'll keep with it. I think I know we mentioned TikTok. I haven't experimented with it, but I know I've heard of people going on there and seeing tons of success. And then or some people doing it and not. For example. So I think there's just time to experiment, and people are going to realize Twitter can get clogged, and Discord people get kind of Discord fatigue as well. So if you want to bring in new community members, you're going to have to experiment and just be multi-platform and hey, maybe even multi-chain.
Yeah, I agree with that. You're gonna have to reach different types of audiences, and as you guys touched on, like TikTok has a completely different audience than Instagram or Facebook or even Discord. So you're gonna really want to experiment because what you can put on Instagram isn't necessarily what you're gonna put on TikTok. So it's gonna be a really interesting thing as we continue to grow. Next bull run, I totally see way more people coming on the stacks. I think this is just the beginning. And again, we're like so early. So I think we're going to see a ton more people. And I think with new people will be new ideas, new inspirations, new experiences, new memories. And they're going to want to share that in so many different ways, whether that's a 5-second TikTok or an Instagram reel or a YouTube short or a meme worthy YouTube thumbnail video. I think we're going to see a ton of new creativity and I'm totally excited for it.
Yeah, I think I didn't answer this question earlier, but on like what's different in Web3, in like the kind of marketing content creation world, I think there's a lot more of just putting down the corporate barriers, just doing more with less type deal. And once you realize like you're recording a podcast, you might as well cut that into a bunch of clips and share it across a bunch of platforms, things of that nature. So I think that's something we'll see more of when people and projects realize that when they are, as they bring on people who understand that aspect, that it's like, this only takes another hour or two of the week and you can reach maybe a couple thousand more people. Yeah. You should definitely do that versus just talking into the same voids that you've been talking into.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And I think I totally agree with you. NFTs on Bitcoin. That's going to be that's a good hack. And I think people don't do that enough. I see a lot of people do that in other industries like beauty and traditional finance, YouTube, like Graham Stephan. So it's going to be really interesting to see the change and people really use these to see people really use these platforms to their fullest.
Yeah, I was going to jump in too, and I just have a lot of respect for you guys and what you guys are doing. You look at some people that are creating content elsewhere, and the content is very eye catchy, and like it's really about pumping the followers up and pumping the viewership up, but the substance of it is lacking in a lot of ways. And I just have a lot of respect for what you guys do because there's a lot of useful. I say you guys are doing it the right way. You guys are providing good, useful information to new audiences, and that's really how you get good user growth, not people that are kind of here and then they get a bad taste in their mouth, right? So I really respect you guys.
Oh.
And I just want to jump on that point, and again, that's why I really value what you guys do. It's organic growth. It doesn't feel cheap. Every time I see you guys putting out content, it looks well polished. It looks like something you'd be proud to put out, and it doesn't feel like it was forced. It feels organic. It feels like it's on message, on brand, and I think a lot of the protocols and teams, I think is untapped. Just kind of the communications between. It's still a small resource pool, but I do think we could all work better together. We interview each other, we pull each other on different podcasts, on different live streams, on different communications, whether it's Twitter Space. I think we do a really great job with that, and I'm interested to see how the people who are only content creators eventually create these products and then leverage their networks. And I'm seeing a ton of that. And frankly, that's how Zero Authority got started. We came in because we just were really interested. We really love the ethos of Stacks and Bitcoin, and other cryptos too. Ethereum, where I've been in Ethereum for a while and seen their growth, and I hope that same growth trajectory happens to Stacks. But one thing that I'm seeing too is just like that this emergence of different services. And one other thing too, because I just started thinking, we were talking to, I believe, Stacks on Chain, because they create these dashboards for on-chain metrics, and that was one of the reasons. we wanted to create the Cerulean marketplace. So if someone wants on-chain data, they can just go hire some person and create that data. So we really think this is going to unlock markets, and what you guys do, that's unlocking talent and information that people didn't have. I mean, how many people tap into what you guys see, something that you're talking about, and then say, wow, I didn't even know I could go buy this Bitcoin on NFT on Bitcoin today. So I just really appreciate what you guys bring to the community.
Oh, it's so nice. Thank you. I think a lot of it on my end, I think on all of us, we find joy in giving back to people and seeing people learn and grow and be better people and learn from a new experience is such a beautiful thing that it really does provide the motivation. Like, I want to talk about Bitcoin, I want to talk about stacks, I want to talk about NFTs, DAOs, console, DeFi from Alex, like all these things. It only helps grow the ecosystem and to better the lives of other people. So it really makes it nicer, and it makes everything feel much better knowing that you're helping somebody else, knowing that this work isn't like going to waste. It's going to be transformed into something else. So I think that's a huge part of the joy here and a huge part of the journey. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's definitely a small enough community still where anyone can make an impact if they're just doing it.
Yeah, agreed. Where can people find more information about you guys or get in touch with you?
NFTs on Bitcoin, on Twitter, and on Instagram. I got it, especially Instagram. I'm close to 1,000, so need to hit that.
Really right. So far up there. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Yeah, let's get those followers up.
Oh yeah. For me, you guys can follow me on Twitter at IamKayleeBTC. Same on TikTok and Instagram too. Oh, and I do have Journey into Web3 on Twitter and coming to YouTube soon. So keep an eye on that.
Nice. Yeah, we're looking forward to that one.
Is that a new podcast? Is that the plan, I believe?
Yeah, it's gonna talk. It's so Journey into Web3 is looking at Bitcoin and the applications built on Bitcoin. I noticed when I talk to, I'm an accounting major, by the way, for a background. So I'm in school for accounting and finance. And yeah, it's super fun. I think it's fun. Other people might say otherwise. So I was on a business trip last week and I was talking to some reps and they were very well accomplished, making huge sums of money a year. And we were talking about Bitcoin. A lot of them own Bitcoin, but they didn't know about NFTs on Bitcoin or AlexGo or Console DAO. So it really inspired me to really lean into what's being built on Bitcoin. And I know Jake does an amazing job on this. Mm-hmm. I wanted to explore that more and to see what I could provide to the community. So that's what Journey into Web3 will be about.
Really cool. And is Journey into Web3, is that your podcast? Are you partnering with someone?
Oh, it's just mine.
Okay, that will be great. And before we depart here, James, did you have any final comments?
Just really appreciate you guys taking the time and for all that you do. For those in the community, definitely give these folks a follow. They're doing great stuff, and just look forward to working with you guys in the future. Any way that we can try and help amplify and work with each other. And best of luck on the camping Teflon. Hopefully mosquitoes and everything stay away from you, and hope you guys have
Yeah, I'm mostly worried about bears, I think is my
Yeah, bears aren't fun. And Hero Gamer said, don't follow me, please. You got it, bud.
Thank you guys for having us on.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Shout out you guys. Shout out, the Stacks community, Stacks Foundation, everyone in the OGs and all the newcomers, and everyone. Especially the Gauntlet guys, especially, and the gals and everyone they're doing like a ton for the community and for the NFT scene, and they're only going to do more.
And we haven't had a live stream since the huge announcement, but Dan Held is joining Trust Machines. Let's go.
so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge.
Once a native Bitcoin, some more of that comes out, he's going to be really excited about it. So should bring on a lot of new community members.
Yeah. It's going to
I
be
think
really
so.
interesting.
I think native Bitcoin, then you have Bitcoin through DLC contracts, and there was the one I saw you retweet, James. Munib was saying that through the optimistic rollup, it could settle on stacks. Not sure how that works, but that's the optimistic is the layer 2 for Ethereum. So I just think the future is bright. I think it's bright. Lot of things are happening. All right.
Yep.
With that said, I appreciate this. This was fun today. Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah. You all have a great weekend.
Yeah. Talk to you guys soon. See you in Discord.
Yeah.
See you in the metaverse.
Oh, that's a good one. Might have steal that.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Take care.
Zero Authority is a community of people who believe in open source and permissionless systems. Thanks for supporting the community. Remember